Disney movies are always super fun and entertaining, but another thing they do well is surprise us with twists we'd never expect.
Yeah!
That's not gonna haunt us for the rest of our lives at all.
So, do you know the most incredible Disney plot twists ever? Let's dive in.
Bring it on, Coco! Nuts!
In Zootopia, we follow Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps as they try to figure out why so many predator animals are losing control and turning into savage beasts. What we never suspect, though, is that the mastermind behind it all was right under our noses. It's Assistant Mayor Bellwether, the sheep, who soon becomes Zootopia's new mayor. Her plan was to take control of Zootopia so that prey animals could come out on top over the predators. Yes, it's hard to believe, but this cute little sheep is actually pure evil and was behind everything all along. Though she lacks a lion's brute strength, she's smart and manipulative, achieving what she wants without ever getting her hands dirty. Without Nick and Judy, Bellwether's evil plan would have definitely succeeded. Pretty surprising, right? But that's just the first of the 10 Disney movie plot twists you didn't see coming. So jump into this wave, because Cinewave is starting. Inside Out 2 was one of Disney's biggest hits ever, and a big reason the company decided to focus on sequels to its best animations, like Moana, Zootopia, and The Incredibles. And it's easy to see why, as the story is great and introduces new quirky emotions that shake things up in Riley's mind: jealousy, shame, boredom, and anxiety. Among these, anxiety is one of the funniest, but starts off as friendly, so much that we never expect it to push the original emotions deep down to take full control over Riley, but that's exactly what happens. Luckily, Joy manages to regain control and helps anxiety find a healthy way to support Riley. Moana has a sequel coming up that looks promising. Disney's got some work ahead to make the new movie as great as the first one, but from the trailers, it seems like they'll pull it off. The question is whether Moana 2 will have a twist as amazing as the first one, where the Polynesian princess sets out on a journey to return the heart of Te Fiti to Te Fiti herself, the goddess of life. To do this, she and Maui need to defeat a powerful evil lava creature known as Te Kā. The big surprise is something only Moana realizes. Te Kā bears the same mark as Te Fiti because they're the same person. What happened was that Te Fiti transformed into this wild creature after losing her heart. So Moana didn't need to defeat the monster, she had to return the heart to her. When the princess does this, Te Fiti finally returns to her original form and the ocean is once again a peaceful place to sail. Wow, I never would have guessed that plot twist. In Encanto, there's a black sheep in the Madrigal family, Bruno. The other family members even refuse to talk about Bruno as if he were some kind of monster. The reason? Bruno has a superpower, just like every other family member who descended from Alma Madrigal, except his power is much more dangerous: the ability to see people's future. Since Bruno would tell people what bad things awaited them, he got a reputation for cursing others, so he left. What nobody expected were two things. Not only was Bruno not as bad as everyone thought, he was also secretly living inside the walls of the Madrigal house for years. This is really sad because he did it just to be close to his family, even after everyone started to hate him. He could have lived alongside them without hiding, but instead, he spent years quietly watching and listening. Luckily, in the end, the Madrigals forgive Bruno and they finally get to live together properly. So, have you ever been surprised by a Disney plot twist? If so, comment with #surprise below. We're always watching. Wreck-It Ralph dives into the world of video games, so naturally, its plot twist is connected to that theme, and to a character named Turbo. Turbo was a character from an old racing game that got forgotten over time, so he left his game and invaded another racing game. The problem is, this ended up getting both his game and the invaded game shut down. What no one saw coming is that Turbo was actually a major character we'd already met in the movie, King Candy, the ruler of the Candy Kingdom in the game Candy Rush. He altered the memories of all the other characters in the game, making them forget that Vanellope is actually the kingdom's princess. This caused her to be treated like a glitch by the game. Turbo did all of this to become a playable character in Candy Rush instead of Vanellope, who, because she was turned into a glitch, couldn't be used by a player, ensuring Candy Rush wouldn't be shut down like Turbo's previous game was. Tell me, wasn't your mind blown when the movie revealed all of this? I'm sure it wasn't just me. Before setting off to find her sister Elsa in Frozen, Princess Anna had met a charming prince named Hans. They fell in love super quickly, just like in classic Disney movies where princesses wanted to marry the princes they just met. But Frozen never planned for the two to end up together happily ever after, because Hans is actually a villain who only pretended to be interested in Anna so he could take over the kingdom once he managed to get rid of her. In reality, Anna's true love is Kristoff, who helps her on her journey to reunite with her sister. I sensed some chemistry between Anna and Kristoff before this twist and thought Anna might choose him over the prince, but I never expected Hans to be such an extremely wicked guy. In Coco, Miguel travels through the land of the dead and discovers that his great-great-grandfather was a famous musician named Ernesto de la Cruz, who passed away in an accident and continued his music career in the afterlife. Miguel is thrilled by this discovery since he dreams of becoming a great musician too. Then comes an incredible Disney plot twist no one could have predicted. Ernesto de la Cruz is actually a fraud who took the life of Hector, the true writer of all his hit songs, and Miguel's real great-great-grandfather, who has been accompanying him as a spirit on this journey. Naturally, Ernesto goes after Miguel to prevent him from revealing the truth, revealing himself as the true villain of the movie. I never would have guessed that, and it's really sad because Miguel's family despised music, thinking his great-great-grandfather abandoned them to be a musician when the truth was that he'd actually passed away. Tangled starts off in a pretty unusual way, with Flynn Rider flat out saying that this is the story of how he died. It's understandable that anyone watching this would be a bit shocked, since movies typically save these kinds of revelations for the end. Turns out, it's actually a bit of a trick. Flynn Rider does indeed lose his life near the end of the movie, but luckily, Rapunzel uses her magical powers to bring him back. So Flynn wasn't lying when he said that at the beginning, he just forgot to mention the small detail that Rapunzel would bring him back afterward. I think that's a pretty big thing to leave out, don't you? But if he told us that part at the start of the movie, there wouldn't have been any plot twist to surprise us, and him telling us about his death wouldn't have had the same impact. What do you think about it? Before we keep going, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any more content about your favorite animated movies and shows. Another movie that's getting a sequel is The Incredibles, though we don't yet have a trailer or much info on what the third film in one of the most incredible animated superhero trilogies will look like. But one unforgettable plot twist is about the villain in the first movie, who turns out to be Buddy Pine, a huge fan of Mr. Incredible as a kid. Buddy dreamed of becoming Mr. Incredible's sidekick to help him fight crime, but Mr. Incredible turned him down because Buddy was just a kid with no powers. Well, Buddy might not have had powers, but he was incredibly smart. He became Syndrome, the movie's main villain, using his great intelligence to create powerful weapons and giant robots, eliminating nearly all the superheroes. He did it all just to prove that they weren't as amazing as he was. Syndrome spent his whole life focused on this revenge, waiting for the perfect moment to take down Mr. Incredible. Once all the superheroes were wiped out, he planned to be the only hero left, fighting his own robots just to pretend he was saving people. Wow, makes you think how important therapy is, right? The first Incredibles movie hit us with this huge reveal and one of Disney's most memorable villains. But that wasn't the last twist of the saga, as we got something similar in the sequel. In The Incredibles 2, Elastigirl starts working for Winston Dever, a businessman who wants to help superheroes be seen as good again. She also has to face a villain named Screenslaver who can control people's minds. She manages to capture the villain at one point, but then discovers she's only caught a stand-in. The big plot twist this time? Screenslaver's true identity is Evelyn Dever, Winston's sister. Evelyn provides tech support to the heroes working for Winston, and just like Syndrome, she's incredibly smart. Screenslaver's mind control ability actually comes from a device she built herself. The reason behind Evelyn's actions is that she believes superheroes make people think they can't take care of themselves. Her father was a huge fan of superheroes, and he ended up losing his life to burglars because he waited for a hero to save him rather than trying to defend himself. Will The Incredibles 3 surprise us with an even bigger twist? I'll be on high alert when I watch that movie, trying to figure out before it's revealed. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click one of the videos on the screen to keep having fun. Thanks, and see you next time!